everybody to week 5 is in the books. We are now in the first round, of course, in round 2. We are getting to the halfway point of several Division 3 schools along with the youth sports teams. But you guys don't want to hear me talk about all that fun stuff. Let's get on to the games. Alright, let's go into Group A. St. John's, Minnesota had their first road game as they traveled to face Bethel, Minnesota, where they won 45-20. Kaiser was on a bye week. Penn State welcomed Illinois to town for homecoming, where they won 21-7. Montreal traveled to face Sherbrooke, where they won 26-6. And then Wayne State also had a bye week. After the first week, with the 3 teams that played all winning, it starts off tight with St. John's at number 1 with 31.5 points. Montreal at 26.5 points, and Penn State at 20 points, with Kaiser and Wayne State starting off at 0. Going into week 6, we see St. John's, Minnesota comes home for their homecoming game to face Augsburg. Number 1 Kaiser coming off the bye week. They travel to St. Thomas, Florida for their first Sun Conference game. Penn State, they stay at home as they welcome UCLA to town. Montreal heads back home to face McGill. Wayne State, coming off the bye week, also they welcome Minute State to town for their homecoming game. Let's go on to Group B. Group B, Cortland State had a bye week. Number 2 Georgia traveled to Tuscaloosa for one of the biggest games in the SEC schedule as they went to face Alabama, where they lost a tough one, 34-41. Delaware welcomed Sacred Heart to town, where they won 49-0. Oregon traveled down to Pasadena to face off against UCLA, where they won 34-13. LSU welcomed South Alabama to town, where they won easily 42-10. With all but Cortland State playing, we saw a good spread of scores, with Delaware starting the second round hot with 54 points to be the number 1. LSU comes in second with 37, and Oregon in third with 27.5. Cortland got fourth with Georgia losing, as Georgia comes in with -9. Looking at this group's going to take a interesting turn as far as Delaware. You're going to see several of these teams in week 7 and 8 possibly lock up a conference. But with Delaware not allowed to be in postseason play or win their conference, you could see them losing some points in this week. Let's go on to Group C. North Central Illinois, they welcomed Washington, Missouri to town for their home opener, where they won 49-9. Alabama welcomed, like I said, they welcomed Georgia to town, where they won the game 41-34. SMU opened up ACC play as they welcomed Florida State to town, where they won 42-16. Northwestern Iowa heads onto the road, where they face off against Doane, where they won 31-7. Washington, they travel cross country to face off against Rutgers and lost 18-21. After everyone but Washington winning this week, you see a nice spread of scores, with North Central at 46, SMU at 32, Northwestern at 30.5, Alabama at 13, and Washington isn't in too big of a hole yet at -5. North Central, going into week 6, they head back out on the road to face Wheaton. Alabama travels to Nashville to face off against Vanderbilt. SMU, they head back out on the road to face off against Louisville. Northwestern Iowa comes back home to face Concordia, Nebraska. And we have a rematch of the 2023 National Championship, where Washington heads to Ann Arbor to face Michigan. Let's go to Group D. French traveled to Hillsboro, Kansas to face Tabor, where they won 24-0. Notre Dame welcomed Louisville to town where they won a close one, 31 to 30, 31 to 24. Western Ontario comes off a bye week to welcome Queens to town where they won 39 to 14. Aurora stays at home where they welcome Concordia, Illinois to town and won easily 72 to 6. UNLV opened up Mountain West play as they welcomed Fresno State to town where they won 59 to 14. All five teams this week uh, we see that this is looking like one of the better groups. It's going to be a tough one. Aurora gets the number one spot with 72 points. UNLV with 51 comes in second. Then Western Ontario in third with 31 points. Friends comes in fourth with 30.5 points. And Notre Dame in fifth with 12 points. Going into week 6, number 21 Friends comes back home where they face Sterling. Number 14 Notre Dame has a bye week. Number 1 Western Ontario travels to McMaster. Number 21 Aurora travels to Wisconsin Lutheran. And number 25 UNLV welcomes Syracuse to town. Going into Group E, South Dakota State had a bye week. Eat it. They welcomed RPI to town where they won a tight one, 28 to 0. St. Francis Xavier had a bye week. Oklahoma traveled to Auburn where they won a tight one, 27 to 21. Delta State was supposed to be on the road against Easton's College, but thanks to Hurricane Helen, that game got postponed. I'm hoping everybody at Easton's in that general area and along the Eastern Coast border is safe. Especially if you enjoy my stuff, I hope you guys are all safe and are good. Only 2 teams playing this week. It is very wide open. No one jumping out. Edict got a 13 points for first, and Oklahoma with 12.5 points. Going into week 6, South Dakota State, coming off the bye week, is going to travel to Northern Iowa for their first Missouri Valley game. Edict, they head back out on the road where they play Hardin-Simmons. St. Francis Xavier, coming off the bye week, they play Bishops at home. Number 21 Oklahoma is off this week before the Red River rivalry. Number 24 Delta State comes home where they face off against Chowan. All right, let's go into the final group. Group F. Harding State at home where they welcomed Henderson State, where this game was no contest and they won 66 to 0. Number 6 Lenore Ryan welcomed Tuscaloosa to town where they won 37 to 23. Number 4 Colorado Mines welcomed Black Hill State for their homecoming game where they won 52 to 24. Then number 2 North Dakota State, they headed out on the road as they traveled to Illinois State where they won 42 to 10. With 4 of the 5 teams playing this week and winning, New Hampshire starts off in 4th place with 0 points. Harding jumps off to a great start with 72 points, followed by North Dakota State with 38.5 points. Then Colorado Mines with 34, and Lenore Ryan with 20. Going into week 6, Harding heads back out on the road as they face Southwestern Oklahoma. Number 20, New Hampshire, coming off the bye week, they travel down to Cambridge to play Harvard. Number 6, Lenore Ryan, they head out on the road to face Emory and Henry. Number 4, Colorado Mines, heads back out on the road to face Colorado Mesa. And number 2, North Dakota State, they stay home and as they welcome in-state rival North Dakota to town. As always, my rankings that I use are the FBS AP pool, FCS D2 and D3 are the coaches pool, along with NAIA their coaches pool. Use Sports, I use their overall ranking system. Like I said, we are getting into the final leg of some of these seasons. We are at least a quarter mark for the FBS season, FCS season, but D2, D3, and NAIA along with Q Sports, they all finish up mid-November. So this is kind of the last month of everybody playing the regular season before we get into playoffs. Again, if you are on the East Coast and got hit by Hurricane Helen. I hope you all are safe and you guys are doing good. With all that being said, I hope we all had fun and see you next week.